Bon après-midi à tous et à toutes. Merci d'être ici aujourd'hui. Thank you very much for joining with me today. Canadians are outraged at what has transpired this week regarding the tragic case of Tori Stafford. Sa meurtrière, Terry Lynn McClintock, a été condamnée à la prison à vie pour son rôle dans le meurtre de Tori. Derrière des murs, des barreaux, là où elle ne pourra plus jamais faire de mal à personne. Au lieu de cela, elle est dans un centre de ressourcement. Her killer, Terry Lynn McClintock, was sentenced to life in prison for her role in Tori's murder. McClintock's actions were evil, horrific, and caused unimaginable horror to a beautiful young girl in her final hours. But Justin Trudeau's minister calls these bad practices. McClintock deserves to be behind bars for life, where she can't harm anyone ever again. At least that's what her sentence should mean. But instead, she's in a healing lodge with no walls, no bars, and with children living inside. It's absolutely reprehensible that a child killer is living alongside children. Terry Lynn McClintock belongs behind bars. And despite their claims, the government has absolutely has the power to make it happen. For the past week, Conservatives have been demanding that the government take action and reverse this decision. Today, I'm outlining the next steps in that effort. Next week, we will table a motion on our opposition day to demand that the government condemn the decision to send Tori's killer to a healing lodge and exercise its moral, legal, and political authority to transfer her back to prison. Aujourd'hui, je veux vous présenter les prochaines étapes pour s'assurer que le gouvernement renverse cette décision. La semaine prochaine, nous allons utiliser notre journée d'opposition pour déposer une motion demandant au gouvernement de condamner la décision d'envoyer la meurtrière de Tori dans un centre de ressourcement et d'exercer son autorité morale, politique et légale et la transférer derrière les barreaux. Canadians must know that the government does, in fact, have the power to reverse this decision. The Corrections and Conditional Release Act gives the Minister authority to direct the Commissioner of Corrections in all matters, including a directive that a broad class of offenders are not eligible for transfer to a minimum security facility. The same act also gives Cabinet the authority to pass regulations setting out the eligibility for minimum security facilities and healing lodges. Cela pourra inclure l'interdiction pour les individus condamnés pour meurtre. This could include a wide variety of offenses, including murder and the types of offenses that McClintock has been convicted of. Now I'm urging all parliamentarians to come together and pass this motion. Help correct this injustice. Je demande à tous les parlementaires de corriger cette injustice. And I'm asking all Canadians who are as angry and outraged about this as we are to let their member of parliament know that they have an opportunity to make it right. Let your elected representative know that you want them to fix this situation and stand up for the rights of the victims' families. We all have a duty to honor Tori's memory and stand by her family by making sure her killer is back behind bars where she belongs. Thank you, merci.
Murder should not be eligible to go to an Aboriginal healing lodge. I think that was the example you just gave.
What I'm saying is that the government has claimed that they don't have the ability to fix this situation. And what we're saying is they do. They can develop a policy that would affect a broad class of offenders and put in the criteria that would absolutely reverse this decision and put McClintock back behind bars. It is up to them. They can determine how they would like to word that, but they absolutely do have the power to address this situation that would include the types of crimes that McClintock has been convicted of.
Shouldn't be in this healing lodge because there are children present, but there were children present in the previous institution where she was, mothers who would have their kids coming to visit them on occasions. So what kind of prison should she be in then?
She should be in a prison where there is at least a fence. bars, locks on the door. The type of facility that she was in before is not even comparable to the type of facility that she is in now. She was in a facility that had much higher safeguards for safety and to prevent someone like her from being released or able to have access to other children. We already know that she has a problem with other inmates. She's already been convicted of assaulting in a very violent fashion another inmate. So the fact that she's in this facility now is just outrageous.
You haven't really answered my colleague's question. Do you think that no murderer should ever be in a healing lodge?
What I'm saying is that you can absolutely develop a policy that would capture McClintock in terms of the policy. The types of role that these types of facility play is for people transitioning back into society. People are nearing the end of their sentence. People who have, who have that possibility of reintegration. So what I'm saying to the government is they absolutely have the power, as the previous government did when we were made aware of egregious situations like conjugal visits for Paul Bernardo or pension benefits for Clifford Olson. They absolutely do have the power to act, and they need to explain why they won't if they don't support our motion.
So you're saying it's for people transitioning back. So are you saying in this case it's too early, but maybe after 22 years it would be okay?
I am saying that McClintock deserves to be behind bars. She has admitted to just horrific actions. We are not talking about someone who committed a crime of passion. We're not talking about someone convicted of secondary murder who was under the influence of alcohol. We're not talking about someone who engaged in bad practices. We are talking about someone who in a systematic fashion brought about the death of a beautiful young girl after committing unspeakable acts against her. Certainly, the types of crimes that she is convicted of do not merit her being in this type of facility.
Monsieur le juge, j'aimerais savoir quel est le résultat de l'enquête pour la nomination de Rick Dijkstra.
On va avoir un rapport très tôt. Oui,
Le
je sais.
NPD a eu le temps de régler 2 enquêtes sur des allégations de harcèlement
Mais
sexuel.
j'ai aucune direction pour la gestion de cette enquête. J'attends les réponses.
Vous attendez le rapport? Est-ce que vous vous engagez toujours à le rendre public comme c'était le cas il y a 8 mois?
Thanks.
But I mean, are you, I guess in this case, is this not what the government is doing though with this review that Minister Goodale said he's doing?
No.
I mean, will this potentially not lead to some kind of policy change like what you're looking for?
Let's keep in mind, this is so frustrating. I mean, I got to say, Justin Trudeau's performance in question period this week was infuriating. You know, thanking the NDP because he liked their questions better because they asked him questions about his theme of the week. Unbelievable. Trying to compare the facility that she was in to the facility that she is in right now, completely misleading. What I'm saying is that what they have announced is a review as to what led to this decision. They still have not even weighed in on whether or not they agree with the decision. That's one of the reasons why we're asking them to condemn this decision. We condemn this decision. We don't need to wait for a review to understand that this is a mistake and that parliamentarians and the government has an obligation to make it right. They have not indicated that they will take any types of steps to reverse this decision. That's what we're calling for. Thank you very much.
Corrections yesterday, though, after her committee meeting, told reporters that she believes that this was the correct decision and that she will still do a review. So does that call into question this new commissioner who's doing the review if she says she believes procedures were followed?
I'm not going to speak about process or procedures. I'm going to speak about the outcome and the decision. I disagree with the decision to allow a child killer who has committed these types of horrific crimes to be transferred into this type of facility. Thank you.
Vous avez une opinion sur le député libéral qui se présente au travail?
Fait qu'on l'a attendu pendant 15 minutes pour qu'il nous en parle.